Hi, welcome back to Vola TV. Delighted to be joined by you again. I've got Mrs. Palin with me this week. How are you, Fiona?
Smashing, absolutely excellent.
Great, and Mr. Boyle's with us this week too. How are you, Matthew?
Nice to be with you again. And I just noticed that it's the same group this week as last week. That might be our first. I don't know if we've had the same.
I think it is. Yeah, we'll sit in the same seats as well. So
we're going to rotate seats next week, I think.
Well, indeed. And actually, we've got a few special visitors next week, so make sure you tune in for that. So, the big news this week, national news, you'll have no doubt seen it on television and newspapers, the SQA announcement that hires and advanced hires won't have exams this year. And I know, Matthew, you want to say a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Obviously, I believe from the media coverage at the moment that most parents are actually reasonably comfortable with this decision, because it was becoming apparent that in some parts of Scotland we have no young people having to isolate during a time in which they've been identified as a COVID contact, for example, whereas in some other areas like parts of Glasgow, there are an awful lot of occasions, sometimes up to 3 so far of 2 weeks that young people have to isolate at home. Now, we all know that schools, whether they have a lot of isolation happening or a little, are doing a great job of trying to make sure that young people have got online support and plenty of work to get through. But none of us would say that it's exactly the same as the gold standard of being in front of a fabulous teacher who's, moment by moment ironing out your difficulties and getting you, understanding and engaged, as the problems arise. So I think the Cabinet Secretary for Education, John Swinney, in the end had to make this announcement. So no one is surprised, that's the key point. Very few people, I think, in any schools thought that we would go ahead with the higher and advanced higher exams as this situation has really emerged over the last month. So we've been preparing for it, we're ready for it. The idea of moving to a more continual assessment model, whereby we're just seeing what people have got, showing their best work, so that if we're picking the best samples of it, even if they've missed 4 weeks or 6 weeks, worst case, compared to some other student in a different school in a different part of Scotland, it's still a reasonable expectation that with all the time available, that young people will be able to produce work that shows what they can do at their best, and they'll be certificated on that basis. We still have to get some details from the Scottish qualifications people about this, but we've got a pretty strong idea already what it looks like. And above all, parents should not be concerned about this. We will be taking this in our stride, but just to back up what I know Mr. Wright says to you all the time, we want you in. We can only make sure we're getting your best pieces of work and your best learning and our best evidence if you're here. So be here, okay?
Get into school, absolutely. So more details will emerge, and as they do, we'll absolutely share them with you on social media platforms. We'll get letters, emails out, and obviously through Vola TV as well. But as Mr. Boyle said there, and I know we've all got a wee bit to say about this, attendance is so important, and I'm delighted to report to you that this week attendance is held up. We made a real plea to you a couple of weeks ago to please try and make sure that students are in every single day. And I have to say, this week's been good, it really has. So if we can keep that up until the end of term, all it will do is serve our students' best interests. So really great. What I was saying earlier was, what I want from Santa this year is a great attendance. We're nearly at 90%. If we can get that over 90% next week, then I will certainly be absolutely thrilled with my own Christmas. But you were also going to tell us a wee bit, Fiona, about some of the things that are going on next week, really important things in school.
Yeah, I think just add a wee bit on to what Matthew was saying there with that announcement. That's a change for us as a school. We'll be recognising that after Easter, for example, there won't be study leave because obviously that study leave was put in place for pupils or students to undertake their SQA exams. So what the benefit of that is for our young people is we have got more time to gather evidence. So, if people are feeling it's difficult just now and, they're maybe a little bit behind, we have more time to support everybody. It'll be probably towards the end of May before we need to provide these estimates to the SQA, although that still has to be confirmed. That detail hasn't come into schools yet. So all that extra time, all through after the Easter holidays and into May, we expect to see a full school, which is really completely new for everybody. So it's a big change, so lots of time still to learn and get these qualifications, so it's important.
Absolutely. And next week we've got some
certainly
plans.
I know I've been round a number of curriculum teams today, and I know that there's a lot of plans in place. For example, English, Lisa Hughes, she's planning assessments, National 4, 5, Higher, Advanced Higher. It's a whole plan in place in English. So these assessments will be important. These will inform the teachers when we are writing our full reports, and we will be starting doing them in January. So these assessments are all planned. Science, for example, not just in senior phase we're having assessments. I know there's assessments in S3, social subjects. Derek Smith was telling me about plans in place, S3 assessments happening in certain subjects in his curriculum area, as well as timed assessments in social subjects in senior phase. So we need you in to do these assessments, because these pieces of evidence are joining the jigsaw to build a nice profile, a nice picture of all your attainment this year.
And this isn't any of us being the Grinch that stole Christmas, you know, assessments right up until the end of term. This is about making sure that our students get the best possible chance. So it's about making absolutely certain that you're in next week, that you're engaging with these assessments, because we did lose a bit of learning, didn't we, last year? And it's just so important that we make that up. So next week will be a big
I think it's important as well. You know, you'll get the odd person that will tell their parents, oh, there's no point in going in. We're just watching videos. We're just doing this. We're just doing that. A lot of nonsense. You know, that it's business as usual. So we're proper lessons all planned for next week in all curriculum areas.
Definitely, absolutely. But as we move towards the end of term, I have to say, it's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas here, beginning to get quite festive.
We'll need to get some mistletoe up here next week.
I was waiting for that.
Mistletoe, but not holly. That's great. Wait, what are you going to do?
I'll get some.
I'm looking forward to that. See me getting embarrassed now. But Christmas doors, we've been walking around the school and it's beginning to look quite festive. We've got a beautiful Christmas tree.
Yeah, the Christmas tree looks fantastic. The most visible thing that you'll see around the whole school is the Christmas door competition. Mm-hmm. Now, when this was announced, I thought, oh, people are tired. This is, it's been a tough year. Oh, it's a big ask, but oh my goodness, once again, Vale Leven staff and students have really risen to the challenge. I say students because we know that while these are teacher door competitions, that some of the students have rolled up their sleeves and helped and added a wee bit of artistic dash and splendour. Mm-hmm. So the deal is, if any of you were able to visit the school just now, you'll find that almost every teacher has covered their door with a decoration. Some of them have gone a wee bit further than that and covered half the corridor wall outside their door with decoration. And we've got, the Dickens, Ghosts of Christmas present and past. We've got beautiful musical instruments up, with lit strings and Christmas, some
nice themes in science, chemistries.
We're good. Science have taken the biscuit for puns. I like a good pun. They've got lots of chemical puns, and we've got chemical element Christmas trees. It's stunning stuff. It must have taken many hours for each of these doors, and honestly, many of you, even parents, will have heard that I'm not exactly the most Christmas friendly head teacher in the west of Scotland. Not quite the Grinch, because I'm quite happy to enjoy a bit of fun with everyone else. But I don't have a Christmas tree up at home. I think I should just get that out there. I think that's what I'm trying to say. But I love it too. It's so uplifting and so wonderful. But as I walk around the corridors, just loving all of the little puns and jokes and beautiful bits of art in these doors. I think that this is a competition.
It's a serious business,
It's a serious business. Yeah. How do we get to know who wins this?
Yeah, so it was Noreen O'Donnell's idea, our hairdressing lecturer, and so what's actually going to happen in terms of the judging? I know there's been one post on social media with some of the variety of the doors, because obviously parents, you're not going to get in school to see them, but the plan is for class captains and the senior leadership team, the student leadership team, they're going to get together and they're going to devise their own judging process. So it's the students that will make the decision on the best door. So we're looking forward to seeing the results. So
Great.
It's just fantastic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
and
sorry.
If anyone wants to see those doors, because you can't come into schools just now, you can go to our Facebook
Yes,
page.
and I think more will be going to be updated. Some are still being finalised.
So there's an interim post at the moment with
on
many of the doors.
social media and the school Facebook page. And the other thing to say, there's a TikTok competition I think I must tell you about. It's been very well received in terms of hits for the initial launch of this competition with Mrs Milne and her registration class. Not quite sure which one it was, one of the first year classes anyway, and there's been a flood of interest with that, a lot of people getting involved. We were just watching a few there, so that competition, I think the closing date for that is the 14th of December. So if you like TikTok, I think a number of students do enjoy TikTok, so please get involved, boys and girls, please.
And it's a TikTok dance competition?
Dance with music, yes.
Is it all dance, yeah?
Dancing, yeah.
Great.
Okay.
I won't enter it because I don't want to, I don't want to make it seem as
You
though
don't
the
want
other
to
standards are
You don't
low.
want to win,
It
do
wouldn't
you?
look right,
I'm saying nothing. Well, thanks very much again for joining us on Vola TV. We'll see you next week for a special Christmas festive special. And thank you very much, Fiona, and thank you, Matthew.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you, Barry.
Have a good week.